Hey YouTube friends, Alicia here with a video of a junk journal that I've completed, and this one is pretty much as good as complete. I know I often come on before they're quite completed, but yeah, this one's done with the exception of maybe some tags or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to swap it, but it was fun to make. It's made out of file folder and it's fairly large. I think it was like 9.5 by 6.5 or something like that. And the reason it's so big is because I wanted to use this vintage cloth. I picked it up from my thrift store and it's just been kind of laying around, and I was going through and just trying to use up some stuff that I've had sitting out. And so I came up with this journal, and I have music paper under it, and then I've stamped butterflies, which, you know, just barely show through. It's done with the easy twine binding, and I know you can see kind of my floor. And when I did that, I'm videoing from on my bed. Normally I video on my floor, but anyways, so then the back is just coffee dyed paper, hand liner paper that I got from work. I have a huge stack of it, so I use it a lot now. And then it folds over, and I need to coffee dye some seam binding. I guess the closure isn't done, and it's gonna go around so that it closes like that, so that I don't cover the cover. Like, I guess I could do it that way, but I just prefer it inside. Anyways, so there's more of that hand liner paper. Everything is coffee dyed. This is an envelope made from tracing paper, and then just a heart doily. These are Tim Hortons bags, and it's attached with some tickets and a pocket here. This is my new die that I got. This video doesn't look very clear. I'm not sure why. But anyways, this is the new die I got, and I love it. It actually opens up. And then I have tickets in there, and then this is bridge score sheets. This is the shopper's bag with the bingo card on the back of it. There's tons of space in this journal for writing or whatever you want to use, and it's not really a theme, it's just all kind of vintage coffee dye. There's no scrapbooking paper in it. I just took a collection of papers and coffee dyed them and put them together, and then gathered some ephemera and just added it. So here's a vintage snap card, and it's once again coffee dyed and put on there. I did some stamping and bingo cards. They're coffee dyed, and I made these with my brother's scan and cut. And oops, this pocket here with more tickets. And it's a double tuck, this coffee filter. These are vintage labels. They're actually like the lick and stick labels, so that's partially how I knew that they were vintage, because I mean that hasn't been around in quite a while, but the envelope they came in with also very vintage. Some stickers I had, another envelope, and it's a double tuck. It tucks behind here and then in here. Some stickers. These stickers are really weird. They're like a rubber. I don't know. I didn't realize that when I bought them, but I like them, so I guess it doesn't really matter what they're made of. In the corner it says, I'll zoom it in really close if I can, find beauty in every day. Yeah, find beauty every day. Sorry, that just gave you a really bad shadow, but I don't have my glasses on, so I couldn't remember what that stamp said. This is a Stamping Up stamp. These are vintage placemats. I got a stack of them. Stamp from Hobby Lobby. A seam binding packaging, which is vintage as well. Just an index card and a stamp. My Inka Dinka Doo stamps. Some stamping and lace. This is vintage book paper. This is not coffee dyed. This is what the paper looked like. And then the seam binding is vintage seam binding, I believe. Most... oops. Okay, there we go. It's a bad thing about easy twine binding. It doesn't always hold really tight, but it should be okay. Almost all my seam binding is vintage. And there's that stamp again, and then a butterfly in it. Some applique that I coffee dyed and just made banners with index cards. This says Memories, and I'm not going to try and read it. It's stamped on some vintage book paper. This is an old stamp with some music paper. This is what is it called? Like on books, the write-up about them. Anyways, it's vintage as well. More vintage paper with some seam binding. I really like this journal. I like how it turned out. I enjoyed working on it. More of that. Used to dye as a tuck spot. It's just sewed book paper, those tuck spots. The Tim Hortons bag. Another applique flower. I used some stamps as a tab. My Tim Holtz car die, and it's a tuck. These pieces right here are from the game Probe, and then I just stamped, I backed it with paper and stamped the bird and added some lace. And that bird again. Some more tags. This is a pocket. This is the packaging from some vintage airmail paper. I use everything, you guys, and I save everything. This is more vintage ephemera. This mason jar came from my friend JC as well. Actually, no, this card here didn't come from JC. I don't know who it came from. It's just a journaling card. I went through my stash and I started using things, so. Another sticker. Bingo card, another like postage stamp type deal I made with my brother. Scan and cut. Here's another one of those stickers. More stamping. This is a flower that was given to me with some lace. I'm not totally sure that I'm liking that flower, but once it's glued on, it's, you know, not going to come off, so it's there. This is a coffee filter with this tag from Lori with happiness. It's all glued down. It's just layered. Like I said, I was using stuff up. This is just a tuck spot. This is from a vintage magazine. stamp was gifted to me from, I believe, Sandra. That was the first time using it. Vintage airmail envelope. I'm very blessed that way. I don't have a lot of, like I always say, scrapbooking stores, but my thrift store has all different vintage stuff that it gets in, so I can find just about anything. And so, I mean, I have book paper and the airmail envelopes and seam binding and all that kind of thing that I really like using. And in this journal, instead of hoarding it all, I actually put it to use. So that was actually lots of fun. This music paper is not vintage, but it went horizontally, I think is the word, instead of vertical, so that it's going the right way. Like, it's long enough that I could fold it in half and still have it going the right way. So that's why I actually picked it up, because I have lots of music paper, but it's one of the newer things I got from my thrift store. And then the back cover, and then yeah, that's the end. Let me know what you think. It's different in the sense that it has no scrapbooking paper, but it's still very me in the fact that it's all vintage. Thank you for watching. Bye.